بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. We will continue with our studies of التعبير القرآني by Dr. Fadil Salih Samirra'i, and we had finished this was page 38, and we're going to start today inshallah with page 39. But the idea is he is still talking about how words are used based on the context. So a jumla fi'aliyya or a fa'al will be used if there is a need for tajaddud, if there's a need for regeneration, renewal, things like that, or something that is incidental. And then an ism would be used for something that is permanent, established, fixed, something that is embedded, in an attribute that is embedded in somebody permanently. That is where an ism would be used. And last time we had talked about, let's see here. We had talked about tasbih. So we were discussing the concept of tasbih. And of course, before that, we had talked about different other concepts like iman, huda, istighfar, so many others, right? And so the last one we talked about was tasbih. And today, he's going to go on to talk about idlal. Okay, but first we're going to finish that. And then he's going to talk about, the idea of mubsirun here. So we're going to just finish this part section, and then we can start talking about idlal. So he says, وَمِنْهُ قَوْلُهُ تَعَالَى تَذَكَّرُوا فَإِذَا هُمْ مُبْصِرُونَ. يعني the people of taqwa, they remember, and as a result of their remembering, فَإِذَا هُمْ مُبْصِرُونَ, it is as if they see. فَإِذَا هُمْ مُبْصِرُونَ, this is إِذَا الفجائية. Then يعني suddenly it's like they see, suddenly they have sight. Suddenly they are sightful, if you want to translate it as an ism. And then he says لأن البصر صفة لازمة للمتقي. That is because why is it as they're described as sightful? Why is it they're described in this manner? And he says that is because البصر, sight, صفة لازمة للمتقي. It is a necessary attribute for a muttaqi, right? It's a necessary attribute for somebody who has taqwa. وَعَيْنُ الشَّيْطَانِ رُبَّمَا حُجِبَتْ. Now here, like we mentioned, again, the muttaqi is being placed in the opposite of a shaitan. So a shaitan min al-ins wal-jinn is not just the shaitan, but also an evil person is called shaitan. I mean, don't go calling people you hate shaitan, but that's basically how you can describe them. An evil person is a shaitan, right? So he says, وَعَيْنُ الشَّيْطَانِ رُبَّمَا حُجِبَتْ. And the eye of an evil person may be obstructed, may be covered, right? Is sight here mentioned internal? No, here is actually sight. Like they see, like you can look at it as like insight, like, but of course that is basira, that is something else. أبصر يبصر إبصار فهو مبصر is actually physical sight, like as if they have physical sight. And again, we have this concept of guidance being described with sight, as if they're seeing, and dalal being described with blindness. So you have this kind of dichotomy, this kind of opposites that happen with guidance and misguidance. So guidance is normally described with sight, like with vision and with seeing. And then you have misguidance being associated with blindness. And I know that, for us right now, it feels like the insight or the blindness is more metaphorical. It's not physical. But then on the day of judgment, we see things turning, and the actual insight or sight that we thought was metaphorical becomes actually physical sight. And this is a concept I'm discovering in Surah Al-Hadid. I think I discussed that last, maybe 2 weeks ago. one of the episodes where we were discussing the scene of the Day of Judgment, and this idea of sight, the sight that they had on the day on earth becomes true sight on the Day of Judgment. And the blindness that people had here, like the metaphorical blindness towards Islam and the metaphorical blindness towards the truth that they had here, the munafiqun, the kuffar, they had a certain kind of blindness here that wasn't physical blindness, but on the Day of Judgment it actually manifests as physical blindness. So يعني it's like two sides of the same coin, really. Physical blindness and metaphorical blindness, because it's just a matter of realm. Which realm? Is it this dunya realm, or is it the akhirah realm? In this dunya realm, it looks metaphorical, but in the akhirah, it becomes actually physical. It manifests, becomes the reality, right? Subhanallah. May Allah protect us. Anyway, let's see here. Hujibat is
The
passive?
reason I was
Yes.
sorry.
Go on.
The reason I was asking was this ayah of Surah Araf. The beginning part of this ayah is that when the shaitan whispers, they remember their Lord and then they are sightful. So the reason I mentioned, I was asking if it's internal is because when the shaitan whispers, and we're talking about this dunya realm, the shaitan is not physically whispering. It's the waswasa is inside our minds. And then
Right.
when we do zikr or when we remember Allah Ta'ala, we're also remembering inside our minds, even if we do utter the words from our mouths. And then that's why I was asking if Mubsirun would also be internal sight, and you're equating it to the external to sight in the other realm, but here in this dunya, would it still be they start to
Yes.
see clearly, they are sightful? That's why I was asking, because
Yeah, beautiful
everything is
question.
internal. Those are internal. The zikr is internal. So is Mubsirun? Would it be internal?
Yeah, I would imagine so, but I haven't really dug deep into this ayah, so I can't say with absolute confidence that this is it. But I would imagine that's the case because obviously when we say they see, I mean it's not like you can physically see the truth, right? It's not like you can physically see Allah. Ma'ad Allah, you cannot do that because when they remember what they were thinking about. So for example, if they were doing dhikr of Allah, you can't exactly see Allah, but you sort of like have this awareness. Yeah. So yeah, I would imagine that's the case, to be honest. But I'm not so 100% sure. I haven't really researched this eye, to be honest. But that's the idea, yes. All right, yeah, Hujibat is passive here in this case. Yeah, because we don't know who is doing the obstructing. So if we make it ma'lum, hajabat, man fa'ala, who obstructed, we don't know. So it doesn't make much sense, right? And then he says لأن البصر صفة, we've said that. فإذا تذكر أي المتقي, إذا تذكر المتقي, so this pious person when he remembers رأى المذكور, so you see رأى المذكور, again this رأي, this رؤية that is happening here, he when he remembers is as if he sees whatever he was remembering. So if he was doing dhikr of Allah, then it's like he sees Allah before him. And we know the definition of ihsan is أن تعبد الله كأنك تراه, is to worship Allah as though you see him, as though he is before you. Yeah, and if you do not see him, then know that he sees you. فإنه يراك. So that's I think that's the idea of ihsan, that what is being presented here. When you're reminded, you sort of like become aware of the reminder and whatever it is that you're being reminded of. ولو قيل, had it been said, again مبني للمجهول هنا, يبصرون instead of مبصرون, which is the ism, had it been said in the صيغة فعلية, in the form of a فعل, يبصرون, لأنبع عن تجدد واكتساب لا عودة صفة. It would have informed on recurrence, on renewal, واكتساب, and earning. I don't know how else I translated this, and acquiring. I think acquiring would be good. So renewal and acquiring. To acquire something, that will be iktisab. to earn something, to get something, that would be iktisab. So it would be, if the yubsirun was used, then it's a matter of they start to see and then they stop to see. Like there's a recurrence, there's a new renewal. It happens and it stops. No, but here mubsirun is like their vision is permanent. Yeah, that's the idea. لا عودة صفة. لا عودة صفة. Here, when you're getting the fact that it's not just a recurrence of a sifa, like a return of an attribute. So mubsirun is عودة صفة, like the attribute permanently returns. When there is like the attribute was forgotten for a minute, but then it permanently returns, right? Something like that. Acquisition, exactly. That's exactly the word. Yeah, acquisition, iktisab, acquisition. I hope that's clear. Anyway, then he goes on. So this was a quote from Al-Burhan, the book. He was using that as an evidence. So then he continues to give yet another example, sorry. ثم انظر كيف ذكر الله الإذلال. And so he says, look at how Allah mentions misguidance. وأضافه إلى نفسه بصورة الفعلية فقط. And he sort of associated it with himself in a جملة فعلية, in a verbal form, only in a verbal form, للدلالة على أن هذا أمر طارئ يفعله من يستحقه. To indicate, so why does Allah do this? Why does Allah associate idlal, misguidance, with himself in a فعلية form? To indicate that this matter, the matter of idlal, is an incidental matter. Yeah, it's something that just happens upon. Like it's not something that is permanent, something that occurs suddenly, right? يفعله من يستحقه. The one who deserves it is the one who does it. So the deserving one is the one who does it, right? So it's not like it's every time you're doing it. Only when it is deserved, that's when you do it. ولم يسند هذا الأمر إلى نفسه بالصورة الإسمية للدلالة على أن هذا ليس من صفات الله ونعوته. And he did not associate this matter to himself in a ismiya form to indicate that this matter is not from the sifat of Allah. It's not from his attributes and not from his nu'utihi, again also from his attributes, because sifa and na'at mean the same thing, right? So we normally sometimes do this in languages, basically, where we use synonyms one after the other to add emphasis. Yeah. So this is speaking in emphasis. So I would use the same synonyms just to add emphasis. So I would say attributes and descriptions. It's not from Allah's descriptions or attributes. Attributes and descriptions are pretty much the same thing, right? But I'm doing that to add emphasis. And he goes on to give an example in the Quran. قال تعالى كذلك بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم كذلك يضل الله من هو مسرف مرتاب. So you can see يضل الله, Allah is using the verbal form يضل, not مضل, right? And he also says كذلك يضل الله الكافرين. وقال أيضا وما يضل به إلا الفاسقين. So you see in all these three different examples, Allah is associating himself with the فعل مضارع يضل يضل وما يضل. So you can see in all cases that's what's happening. في حين وصف الشيطان بذلك فقال whereas he mentioned shaitan, he described shaitan with بذلك, with that same attribute of إذلال, misguidance, and he said هذا من عمل الشيطان إنه عدو مضل مبين. So you can see this is an اسم فاعل. أضل يضل إذلال فهو مضل. When it came to the shaitan, Allah gave him a permanent attribute of mudil. He is certainly a misguider, a person who misguides, or an entity that misguides. That is in his nature. It is permanent. It is fixed. فجعله وصفا ثابتا له. So he made this description a permanent description for him. ويتجدده أيضا. And also when it comes to shaitan, so he described shaitan first of all in a permanent way, and also in a mudara way, in using a mudara in a recurring way, right? ويتبع كل شيطان مريد كتب عليه أنه من تولاه فأنه يضله ويهديه. يضله. So again مضارع was used here for shaitan. وقال الشيطان عن نفسه, and the shaitan also spoke about himself. وَلَأُضِلَّنَّهُمْ. So here, I mean, again, just look at the words of shaitan here and how much certain, how much yaqeen he has about his misguiding of people, like how much convinced, how much assured he is about his ability to misguide. He says وَلَا أُضِلَّنَّهُمْ. Lam at-tawkid in the beginning, so that's emphasis, and then أُضِلَّنَّ نون التوكيد الثقيلة. So it's like three emphasis. Shaitan, when he speaks about himself, he's like, I am 100% no doubt certain that I will misguide them. Subhanallah. That he knows it's a permanent quality for himself also. And he speaks with such assurance. And okay, I don't know if we will be able to go all the way there. So I think maybe we can stop there and just
Sister Leha,
yes.
can you please explain in this paragraph? Yudillu, it is being used as a fail verb once again. Man tawallahu fa'annahu yudilluhu. Yeah.
Yes, yudilluhu. Yes. Mudara.
Can you please explain once again? It's been used because it's used for the shaitan, right?
Yes.
So it's saying that it shows the permanent character, no, right? Because it's fail madi. I mean mudari.
No, so he's saying that when he came to Allah, Allah has never used the name Mudil for himself.
Yeah, that's
right?
Correct. Yeah, I got that. Yeah.
Yeah, for Allah, he's never used the name Mudil. But when he came to Shaitan, he used Mudil, he used Yudil, he used both. And again, there's a beauty here. The beauty here is Allah, first of all, used the ism, which is permanent and thabit, and he also used the mudari', which is continuous. Because imagine if he used the madi instead. Madi denotes happening once. So that means the shaitan only misguides once. And that's the end of it. No. But Allah used mudil, which is a permanent attribute, which means that, I don't have to be doing it right now. So when I say, for example, I am a teacher, doesn't mean I could be teaching right now. That's just my permanent attribute. I'm a teacher, right? So if Allah just used shaitan is misguiding or is a misguider, and that was the end of it, then perhaps he's not misguiding right now. It's just a permanent thing that he has, but he's not doing it right now. But because he also used the mudara', which means it's a continuous thing that he keeps doing and keeps doing and keeps renewing this misguidance, it captures the entire picture. But when it comes to Allah, he did not use mudhil for himself because it's not from his attribute, from his names. So you see just the beauty of the different words that have been used for different purposes.
So it's because of its nature, it's used ism fa'il, and because it's going to continue misguiding, continuously misguide until it's there. So that's why it's used fil mudari. Am I correct?
Yes, precisely. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay.
We can also look at that one more way, that there is no hope that the shaitan will gain guidance. So he is in a permanent state. And while he is trying to misguide the other people, there is still hope that they will find their way back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yes, precisely. Yeah. So he has no hope. He has lost all hope, and that's why he's described with a permanent description of mudhil. But because he keeps doing it, also Allah uses the mudara because he keeps doing it. It's not like he did it once or he used to do it before and now he stopped doing it, No, he keeps on doing it. He is permanently like that, and he keeps on doing idlal, misguidance, precisely. Any other questions or clarifications, comments, corrections? Okay. Now that we understand what the passage is all about, what is being said, we can now look at the grammar. And maybe if there's anything important, we can mention as well. Archie, are you there?
Yes. Assalamualaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So, ومنه واو نافية or منه جار مجرور متعلق بالفعل متعلق مقدم متعلق بالخبر مقدم
بالخبر yes.
قوله مضاف إليه مبتدأ and تعالى is the حال of the who in قوله and the ayah is the بدل of this قوله who عطف بيان or بدل maybe
yeah, either or, both can work, either بدل or عطف بيان.
Okay. So then لأن ظفر لام حرف جر and the rest of the sentences مجرور متعلق to something and from أن is حرف نصب and بصرة would be اسم أن مبتدأ and صفة لازمة is خبر موصوف صفة.
Beautiful. Oops, what's happening? صفة لازمة. And so this is متعلق to what?
Is متعلق to قوله.
Yes. So you have, this is متعلق بالخبر number 1 and then this is متعلق بالخبر متعلق بالخبر number 2.
And لام again حرف جر المتقي واللي مجرور and again this is متعلق بالخبر 3.
This is متعلق بماذا? So you cannot say it goes back to قوله because it's not قوله للمتقي. It's what للمتقي?
بصر
صفة للمتقي. So it is متعلق to this خبر, to this صفة. So actually this, yeah, you understand? This bracket does not end there. This bracket ends here.
Okay.
Right?
واو حرف عطف and عين مضاف and الشيطاني is مضاف إليه and it is مبتدأ. عين الشيطاني is مبتدأ and ربما وجبت is خبر في محل رفع.
Yeah, so ربما is actually حرف جر and this ما is actually ما كافة ومكفوفة, like you have إنما ربما. Some people have looked at it that way, like ربما is حرف جر and then the ma is كافة, it stops ربما from doing its job. That's why you have a فعل after it. But normally you'd have ربما come with an اسم. ربما الكتاب ربما الكتابي, sorry, because جار مجرور, or ربما العلمي, something, yeah. But here, because the ma that is top al-kafa, the ma came here, so this is kafa and makfufa, so we'll call this kafa and makfufa, right? And then hujibat, like you said,
ماضي مجهول. فاعله هي.
نائب الفاعل.
It is نائب الفاعل is here and it is خبر في محل رفع.
And what is it referring to? What is this here going back to?
عين.
Precisely. Because body parts in pairs, we describe them with singular feminine, even if it's just one being mentioned, right?
Right.
Now this sentence, what do you think this sentence is? What is it doing here?
الشيطان
Like, what is it? How is it connected to anything? Do you see any connection between the previous sentence and the sentence after it?
No.
No.
دي
Okay,
جملة
good.
اعتراضية.
Exactly, precisely. So this is جملة اعتراضية. That's why you see this إذا تذكر is going back to للمتقي. So it's like this sentence, I want you to imagine it's like it was not there. So it was just continuing. لأن البصر صفة لازمة للمتقي فإذا تذكر رأى المذكور. That's how the sentence is supposed to be. But then it's like we separated these two and we inserted something. We inserted a sentence there. So this is جملة اعتراضية. It is, what's the English word for it? اعتراضية? Oh my God, my English is going. But alhamdulillah, I'm
Interrupted.
gaining Arabic. Sorry?
Interrupted sentence.
Interruptive.
Interruption.
Yeah. Yeah, we can go with interruptive. Yeah. So that's basically what's happening here. Any questions? Are we good? All right, let's go on. So this wow actually would be wow isti'nafiyya, because now this is a new sentence that has nothing to do with what is before or what is after. So wow isti'nafiyya there.
Okay. صفة حرف عطف and إذا is again مضاف.
أداة شرط
and the rest of
غير جازمة
yeah
and it's also مضاف. Yes.
and the rest of the sentences في محل مضاف إليه. yeah
في محل جار.
مضاف إليه. and تذكر is فعل ماضي فاعله هو. and را is جواب to إذا. and again را is فعل ماضي فاعله هو. المذكور is the مفعول برأى.
Exactly.
and واو حرف عطف and لو is again حرف شرط yeah and إذا is فعل ماضي مجهول نائب الفاعل would be هو.
Yes.
and يبصرون is I think it's نائب الفاعل of قيل.
Exactly. Exactly. So قيل, the inside pronoun is huwa, yes, but when we have an inside pronoun, we look around. Can we have something that is, can act as a naibul fa'il? And here, with a passive sentence, whatever is going to be the maf'ul bihi becomes the naibul fa'il in the passive sentence. That's why yubsirun, it's actually the naibul fa'il of qila. And that's why when we translate this, we will start with yubsirun. Had yubsirun been said. We won't say had it, or you can actually say had it been said yubsirun also. But the idea is yubsirun is the naibul fa'il. Right?
and lam is jawab to law. and amba is فعل ماضي فاعله هو. and this sentence is jawab. I think the whole sentence is jawab to قيل. No.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
حرف
الأنباء
جر
would be the
تجدد.
jawab.
عن حرف جر تجدد is مجرور وحرف عطف and اكتساب is معطوف to تجدد. and لام نافية للجنس. and أولى is اسم لا.
Beautiful.
and صفة is أولى is مضاف and صفة is مضاف إليه. and
Exactly.
this sentence is صفة اكتساب from لا أولى صفة.
No, it's not a sifa.
how will we connect to this sentence?
Because it's not also لا حرف عطف here. It cannot be لا حرف عطف. So it could just be a new sentence. This, not
Okay.
this. Right?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because it cannot be حرف عطف. I will look further into this, the relationship between this, if it has any connection with what comes previous. But for now, maybe let's just look at it as a if it's a new sentence, then what is this? Like obviously if it's a new sentence, then this is la and it's ism, and then the khabar of la is mahduf, as is always the case. So that's how we would do the i'rab, okay? La and it's ism, and then the khabar of la is mahduf. But if there's any connection with the previous sentence, I will figure out, inshallah. I will find out. But for now, I cannot see the relationship.
I think during, I'd written this down. I'm not sure if this is correct, but I think when you were doing this with the start, he had said that this was a badal. So auda, instead of saying auda, it was la audi sifatin, and the audi was a badal of tajaddudin, as signified by its jar status. I'm not sure if that, but I'd written this down and I didn't understand it.
Then a badal of tajaddud, maybe that's something I need to. I'm not so sure. To me, it looks like la nafiya lil jins. Because
how do you translate this? La auda sifatin.
Not a return of an attribute.
Like if we would say like something like non-reversible characteristic, something like that. Something which cannot be reversed.
I don't know if auda here means reversed.
Auda is like returning, right?
Yes.
So which cannot be returned or which cannot be reversed. So what cannot be reversed? So it is like so what is this reversible concept going to? Is it going to iktisab? It means like iktisab, something that you acquire and which cannot be reversed.
It's going back to the quality of ibsar.
Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is informing about tajaddud, something which is renewed again and again. And then he is describing a gain which cannot be reversed. So, what does this iktisab really mean over here? I'm a little stuck on this. I mean, you gain something, so you gain something, right?
You gain?
So, yeah. So,
also, the way you're looking at it as la awda sifatin or is connected to iktisab? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yes. Tajaddudin actually, because iktisab is matuf to tajaddudin.
Iktisab means like it is changing, right? Iktisab is, first tell me, what is this iktisab doing here? The concept of gaining something. So if you gain something, how does it change? Like you acquire something, or it's a done job, right? So how is this iktisab in the, how do you explain iktisab in the context? I am not getting that.
I'm also confused, to be honest. I don't know how, Fawzia, do you have any notes on how BUJ translated this?
This is the way BUJ had done it, and I've written down that La Auda is actually a badal, and he made it La Audi sifatin to show the status of tajaddudin. And it's a La Audi sifatin is a badal of tajaddudin. This is what I've written down.
I'm not understanding the meaning of that, to be honest.
Because I don't know, this is I'm thinking that tajaddud means something which is changing all the time. While Auda,
Yes.
sympathy, does not mean that it is changing. They are two opposite concepts. They cannot be badal.
Exactly. They
No,
cannot be better.
no, sorry. Okay. Audi sifatin is repetition of a quality which is connected to renewal, and the la is negating or la nafia lil jins. So the la itself is not, the Audi sifatin is connected to tajaddudin. This is how I'm seeing it. That's how it's making it a badal of renewal. Repeating of a quality is renewal.
Do
I
you
can't
recall
see it as a
anything about
badal. To be honest,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense to me as a badal at all. Because if it's a badal, then you can easily replace this with tajaddud. So you can say عن لا عود صفة. يعني لأنبأ عن. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
It could imply renewal.
To me, tajaddud,
Why?
recurring, is the opposite of عودة صفة. Like the permanence of a sifa, like the return of a sifa, like the presence of a sifa. So he's saying لأنبأ عن تجدد واكتساب. Had it been used as يبصرون, then he would be informing of tajaddud and acquisition, not the return of a sifa, not the return of something permanent. Like it would be the return of some, or acquiring something new. You can look at it that way. Like acquiring tajaddud, something new and recurrence, not a return of something permanent. Because tajaddud has to do with something new, and iktisab also has to do with something new, because you're gaining something maybe for the first time. You're earning something for the first time. Yeah. لا عودة صفة, not the return of something permanent, not the return of an attribute, not because an attribute is something permanent. It's not something that comes and goes, right? So if you use the jumla فعلية, then it shows something coming and going, right? And it wouldn't indicate the permanence of the presence of a permanent attribute. So this عودة صفة is the opposite of tajaddud in a sense.
Okay,
I don't think it makes sense as a
agreed.
badal.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
it doesn't. As a badal, it just becomes very confusing. Right? And also I don't know how, if you look at عودة صفة as a badal, then what happens to this la? Like how do you look at this la? It becomes very confusing for me. The other way, if that was the case, يعني the other way of looking at it would have been this la is حرف عطف. That would make sense. If it was حرف عطف, it would make sense. You can say لا عودي. But the problem with that is that لا as حرف عطف comes only with an اسم مفرد. It comes with a singular type of اسم, not a مركب, not a sentence. Here we have a تركيب, we have مضاف مضاف إليه. Yeah? مضاف مضاف إليه is not a single word. For example, if I said جاء عمر لا زيد. زيد is a single word. So I can say that جاء أحمد لا زيد. Right? So I can be able to do that, and I will say this لا is حرف عطف, because whatever came after it is a single word. But here we have a تركيب, which is مضاف and مضاف إليه, which cannot be, that means this لا is not لا حرف عطف. And the only other possibility this لا can be is لا نافية للجنس. That's the only other possibility that would make sense here. Any questions there?
Okay. What's the i'rab of la عودة صفة?
So لا, we would say لا is لا نافية للجنس. عودة is اسم لا. Right? So like, for example, when we're doing the i'rab of لا نافية للجنس, we do it like inna. We do exactly like inna. Right? So لا is لا حرف نفي للجنس. عودة is the اسم of لا, and عودة is also مضاف, and صفة is مضاف إليه. Where is the خبر of لا? It is محذوف. This is very common. For example, in the Quran, there's لا ريب فيه.
But
لا ريب
is this a
فيه.
sifat? Would la awda sifatin be a sifat to iktisabin?
No.
No. Is it
I'm not
standing
so
on
sure.
its own?
That's what I said. I need to confirm the relationship between this لا عودة صفة to what came before. I'm not 100% sure the relationship, what the relationship is. I'm looking at it as a new sentence for now until I figure out what the relationship with what came before is.
Okay.
Yeah. So most of the time, the خبر of لا نافية للجنس is going to be a شبه جملة. Like for example, this جار مجرور فيه. And most of the time, this شبه جملة جار مجرور is going to be محذوف. Yeah, it's going to be like for example, لا إله إلا الله. The خبر of لا إله is محذوف. So this happens a lot with لا النافية للجنس. The خبر is most of the time محذوف. So you can say لا عودة صفة فيه. That would be how to understand it as well.
Okay. So how do you translate iktisab here? Like I get the concept. He's informing about a renewal, something which is refreshing all the time. So how do you tie this concept of iktisab, something that you earn?
Yeah, something that you acquire, newly acquire, newly gain. That would be iktisab.
Okay, something that you acquire and newly gained. Okay.
Yeah. So renewal and newly gain. I don't know, newly acquire. So the idea of renewal and newly acquiring something.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult because this is old Arabic here that we're dealing with. So probably the way they used iktisab back then might be very different from how we are using it now. Who knows? Yeah,
something,
so yeah.
Yeah, something that you something that keeps changing, something that you earn, and this earning does not have a attribute of returning. Move. Wow. Okay. Brain fried. Okay.
So this لا عودة goes back to لأنبأ, I think. So لأنبأ and this, not this. So it will go back to أنبأ, not any one of these two. It goes back to أنبأ.
The la on amba'a is not surely.
It is
What
surely.
it is surely. It is tawfiq.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. لام الجواب. Actually, it's لام الجواب. It's not really adding any stress or value to the sentence. It's just showing you that this lam came before it لو. So لو لا. It shows you where the jawab begins.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Sayyidah Fahima mentions an important point here. Since we have like 10 minutes left, let's do the revision where we had left before. مفعول المطلق. And then inshallah next week we can continue from where we left off. Wait. مفعول مطلق. Yeah. Okay, so we had covered the first three, right? We'd covered the first three. So let's see how many more we can be able to cover today. Okay, so just to clarify, this is the topic of مفعول مطلق. مفعول مطلق, like I mentioned, is a very basic, simple topic by itself. First of all, it's a masdar that comes from the same root letters as the verb. So ضرب ضربا, أكل أكلا, شرب شربا. In that same manner, right? So you have that idea. And we said last time that the maf'ul mutlaq comes for 3 reasons or 3 purposes or 3 goals. One is to add emphasis to the fi'l. The other one is to add emphasis, to declare the type of action that is happening. So mubayyinun linnaw', the kind of action that is happening. And the third one is to denote the number of times the action happened. How many times did this action happen? ضربتين, أكلتين, 2 meals, or 2 types of beatings, or 10 types of beatings, or whatever. However number of times that it happened, that would be denoting the number of times, right? So that's maf'ul mutlaq. Then you have na'ibul maf'ul al-mutlaq. This is the thing that comes in the place of a maf'ul mutlaq. For example, we expected the maf'ul mutlaq from the same verb, but then we had another masdar from another similar verb. That would be na'ibul maf'ul mutlaq, like we talked about previously. So jalastu qu'udan. Qu'udan here would be نائب عن المفعول المطلق. And we also talked about sifa. For example, now here you have a sifa to the مفعول مطلق that is محذوف, right? So for example, جاء السيارة مجيئا سريعا. But we don't say مجيئا, we just say جاء السيارة سريعا. It's understood. أحبك كثيرا. We don't say أحبك حبا كثيرا. And the last one we talked about last time is numbers 3 and above. So a number that comes with the same جذر as the فعل. أكلت أربعة أكلات. So this أربعة would be نائب عن المفعول المطلق. Normally it was supposed to be أكلت أكلات. أكلت أكلات. Right? And then we would say أكلات is the مفعول مطلق, simple. But now I want to specify that it was actually 4. I was so hungry. I ate 4 meals, right? So أكلت أربعة أكلات, and أربعة would be the نائب عن المفعول مطلق on the condition that the مضاف إليه goes back to أكل, the same جذر, أكل, the same جذر. That's the only condition there. Otherwise, أكلت أربعة تفاح, أربعة will be مفعول به, تفاح would be the مضاف إليه, not a مفعول مطلق in this case. So now we're looking at a different one, and this is where you have إضافة to a masdar. This is a very, very common one. Most of them, we have كل and بعض. These are the most common ones. So when you have كل, and they always come as a مضاف, كل, بعض, أي, جميع, all these words, they come as مضاف, right? So the مضاف إليه has to go back to the فعل, the same جذر. كتبت بعض الكتابة. بعض الكتابة. So you can see كتب كتب. So how do we do the إعراب of بعض? We do the إعراب of بعض as نائب عن المفعول المطلق. And of course it's going to be منصوب, right? نائب عن المفعول المطلق ونائب مفعول مطلق, right? Same thing with أكلت كل الأكل. I ate everything. I ate all the meal, the entire meal. أكلت كل الأكل. I ate the entire meal. كل الأكل. Again here, كل would be نائب مفعول مطلق, and الأكل will be مضاف إليه. Now, if I change this word, الأكل, أكلت كل التفاح. I ate the entire apple. I ate the entire apple. Does that make it نائب مفعول مطلق? No. Because if I change the جذر here and put something else, كل becomes مفعول به, not نائب مفعول مطلق. All right? So like the example here I gave, بذلت كل الجهد. Right? بذلت كل الجهد. I did my very best, or I worked so hard. كل الجهد here, you can see جهدي does not match بذل. بذل is a different فعل. جهد is a different فعل. So كل الجهد here would be مفعول به and not نائب مفعول مطلق. Is that clear?
Yes. One question. The masdar
Yes.
that we're using, the mudaf ilayh, does it have to belong to the same family or just the same juzr?
the mudaf ilay has to belong from the same family. Or it can be a different family, I think. As long as the meaning is this.
The same juzr.
For example, if I say jalastu kull al-qu'ud, yeah, I think it can work, but it will still be na'ib. If the meaning is the same, like the meaning of sitting is the same, then I'm actually emphasizing the sitting, or I'm emphasizing the verb. So I think in that case, then yeah, it still applies to the world of maf'ul mutlaq.
Oh, but juhud is not the same as badala.
No.
You just said it's not the same meaning. So even
No,
if it
it's not.
retains the same meaning.
Badala does not mean juhud. These are different verbs. Badala
So,
means to exert yourself. Right?
right.
So juhud is to strive. Maybe they're close, I don't know.
Oh no. Okay. So no, that's what I was getting confused about. The masdar has to be from the same family or the same jizr. Like in the
Yes.
previous one, you said the same jizr. You didn't say same family. In the number one, the idafa greater than 3. Akaltu
Number one.
albata iklatan. No, number 3. Numbers deal with numbers above 3. So it's the same jizr or the same family?
Both. It has to be both.
Okay. If it's the same family, then that's more restrictive.
Yes.
So that makes it easier. So it's same family then.
Same family, same jidr, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But in number
that's a
4,
good
it's
question.
not it doesn't have to be.
No, it also has to be. It also has to be the same family. I was trying to think if this idea of this first idea would apply, but honestly, I'm not so sure about that.
Like for example, you remember we did study this example. I don't know where, when there was a comparison of going that the verb was allama, but the masdar was from ta'allama.
Yes.
So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was trying to reconcile the attributes of both the families by using a masdar of the another family. So in this case, that masdar, is it a pure maf'ul mutlaq or will it be taken as a naibul maf'ul mutlaq?
It will be taken as, I think that's coming. I think we covered it here. Masdar, it will still be naibu anil maf'ul mutlaq. Masdar with the same meaning but from different root. So it will fall under this one. Like وَتَبَتَّلْ إِلَيْهِ تَبْتِيلًا. تَبَتَّل تَبْتِيلًا in the Quran.
No, but the root is the same.
Yes, but different family.
Yeah, here it says the different root, like jalus from jalasa and qa'ada. They are different, right? So what I'm saying, if there is a switch of families, so you will treat it as a pure masdar, right? Pure maf'ul mutlaq, right?
Yes, pure. Yeah, that would be maf'ul mutlaq. Yes, that would be interchangeable because the meaning is the same. Like sometimes you have the masdar from family 1 and family 4, they have the same meaning. So like, let me give you an example of what we are doing right now, Surah Al-Hadid. I have to check my notes. I'm not so sure the ayah. What ayah was it? There's a maf'ul mutlaq. نعم أقرض إن المؤمنين والمؤمنات. This is ayah number. إن المصدقين والمصدقات. Is it the one? Where is it? الذين آمنوا. No, this is before. Or is it after? Subhanallah. اللهم صل وسلم على النبي. Here it is. إن المصدقين والمصدقات أقرضوا الله قرضا حسنا. So when you look at this, أقرضوا الله قرضا. أقرضوا is family 4, right?
4.
Yes. قرضا is family 1. Right? So here you have قرضا is نائب عن المفعول. We expected أقرض الله إقراضا. But Allah says قرضا for a reason, and a very beautiful reason. Yes, نائب مفعول مطلق.
Okay. So it is the family that we have to be conscious about, not the root words.
Yes. Yeah, both. In a sense, yeah, both. Root letters, because it can be julusan, it can be something else. But here, so qard has both the meaning of the charity itself, whatever you give, the loan, the money itself is called qard, and the idea of spending is also called qard. So by using qardan, Allah sort of combined both meanings of money and spending. If iqrad was used, it would only be talking about the idea of spending and not the money itself. So by using, you get it? Yeah. So that's the beauty of changing that.
Okay.
Do we have the energy to do, I don't know, one more? Or? This one is a rare one, so I wouldn't even pay so much attention to it. Like, it's just, you have to know the tools, and they're not even mentioned in the Quran. It doesn't really apply to our world any. So, نشرته منشارا. منشارا will be considered the نائب عن المفعول المطلق because it's a tool. It's minshar is نشرته minshar is the saw, a carpenter's saw, the tool that we use to cut wood. That would be a minshar. So نشرته منشارا, I cut it, the cutting of a saw. I don't know, like, I don't know how you translate it, but this is just adding emphasis. So when you replace the nashran, which is the maf'ul mutlaq, with the tool that you used, then it becomes na'ibu anil maf'ul mutlaq. It's not really a common thing that happens. In fact, I don't think this happens in the Quran at all. Right? رمى الصياد الطير سهما. Sahman is an arrow. Sahman is an arrow, which is the tool that is used for rami, for throwing, for hitting, targeting, or hunting. It was supposed to be Rama, Ramaya. Rama, Ramaya. But then we replaced it with the tool. When you replace it with the tool becomes na'ibu anil maf'ul al-mutlaq.
So it's like you are comparing one action, like how this tool does that action.
Yes.
This is how I'm doing. Yeah?
Yes. Yes. I'm doing this action with this tool.
Yeah. Like this tool does this action.
Yes. Pretty much, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the fifth one.
Poetry. This must be in the poetry, right?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
We're left with 3 more, inshallah, and we shall look at those ones next time. The most important one here in today's discussion, I would argue, is this one. Ba'du, kul, nisf. These words that come as mudaf, if the mudaf ilayhi is from the same family and root letters, then that word becomes na'ibu anil maf'ul mutlaq. That's a very common one. Yeah, because you can have the mudaf ilayh could be something else.
The example that you just gave, Aqradullah qardan, in that we didn't have idafa of these words.
No.
No.
It was a sifa.
Okay, you lost me with that.
Yeah.
So this one came with a sifa.
When you say this one came with a sifa, what do you mean?
Hasanan is the sifa of qardan.
Hasanan. Yes, but it won't fall into this particular category that we just discussed because it's not the idafa masdar.
So there's no kul here, there's no ba'd,
yes,
there's no nisf,
yes.
These words are not there.
These
so it cannot fall into that category.
It is a mufrid, isn't it?
Yeah. So you can see it's just a masdar that is mansub. Aqradu qardan. It's not aqradu kull al-qard. If it was aqradu kull al-qard, then we will say كل is نائب عن المفعول مطلق. Right? It will still be نائب. أو قرضوا كل القرض. أو أقرضوا كل الإقراض. Whichever way you want to look at it. It will still be نائب because it's from the same root letters and it has the same meaning.
Okay, one last question, Sister Ala. I do understand what kullu ba'd nisf haqq jami means. Shatar. What does that mean?
Let's go back there.
Is it shatru?
Oh, where did I go? Sorry. Shatar
Something is around,
means
right?
to also nisf. No, it also means nisf. Sharaka, shatara. Yes, to something to make it half. Like shatartuhu al-khubza. I halved the bread and I shared it with him.
Okay. It is not
That's-
that shatar with shatar al-masjid al-haram. It is not that shatar. Center, like?
That's a
It is-
different one. That's shatra.
That's a different. Yeah.
Yes. That's
That
not
means
from
the
the
center.
verb shatara.
Okay.
So shatara
Okay.
or shatara
Hmm.
has the same meaning as sharaka. To have something
Okay.
and to divide something and to qasama and to share it with somebody. So shatartuhu
Okay.
ta'am, for example. Shatartuhu ta'am, I shared food with him. I divided food and shared it with him. Or
Okay.
shatartuhu ra'i, I shared his opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about asma? How do you translate asma?
Asma'u tafdil. Like it's continuous. Yeah.
Oh,
Akbaru
Oh, sorry.
something. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So kullu will be like all possible aspect, jami, all, but some of it, nisf, half. Haq
Yeah.
will be translated as what?
Kul, if it comes with al, then means entire. The entire thing. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah.
Kul,
Okay.
kul plus plural, it means all of them.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's how you translate it.
Okay. And how do you translate haq? Like, for example, if I say akaltu haqqal akala, like it is to be eaten? Like,
No, obviously you would, it depends with the verb that you use with haq.
okay.
Like for example, if I say haq also could be like the haq of somebody. حق
Okay.
المسكين, but there's no verb of that. It depends
Mhm.
with the verb that comes before it. I can't think of a verb
Okay.
right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Like all of its
Okay.
rights. Like I will think about an
Okay.
example and I will share it in the group, inshallah.
Inshallah. Okay. Inshallah. Jazakallah khair.
وإياكم. I'm sorry this took a bit longer, but alhamdulillah, hopefully it was beneficial to everyone. All right. I'm going to stop there. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. I'll see you guys next week inshallah. السلام عليكم.
Jazakallah khair. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rahma, neema, and afiyah. Ameen. Summa ameen.
آمين يا رب العالمين.